Rob from Live Free Tours, and normally we'd be taking you on tours of the city, or the rocks, or even Melbourne, but today I'd like to take you on a tour of one of Sydney's most beloved suburbs, Leichhardt. The suburb is located in the inner west of Sydney, 5 kilometres west of the central business district, and Leichhardt is best known for its stylish restaurants, especially along Norton and Marion Street, and Italian heritage. In fact, the Inner West Council recently requested to officially rename the centre of Leichhardt Little Italy. Before we go any further, it is important to acknowledge that Leichhardt sits in land belonging to the Wongal tribe of the Eora Nation. What's so astonishing though, is that Indigenous people have lived in and around the Leichhardt area for over 200 times that of European settlers. So you might be wondering, why is this suburb named Leichhardt? Well, in 1846, a man by the name of Walter Beams purchased one of the larger estates in the area and renamed the property after his close friend, Ludwig Leichhardt. Now, Ludwig was a Prussian explorer, best known for his nearly 4,800 kilometre overland journey from Moreton Bay in southern Queensland over to Port Essington, at that time a British settlement 300 kilometres north of Darwin in the Northern Territory. But Ludwig Leichhardt is even more famous for vanishing without a trace in 1848 while attempting, an overland journey from Queensland's Darling Downs over to the Swan River colony on the west coast of Australia. Now, the area in which Leichhardt exists today was first settled by Europeans in 1794. It began as a number of separate land grants, many of which became dairies, which all unfortunately fell victim to residential development. But this part of Sydney's inner west experienced its greatest and longest lasting change over 100 years later in 1917, when Italian migrants began to settle in the area between Balmain Road and Hill Street. The Italian migrants established many businesses as well as religious and cultural institutions, most, if not all of them, based on their own customs and practices. The Italian influence in Leichhardt further and rather rapidly increased after World War II. From 1947, many displaced Italians chose to settle in the suburb due to the availability of unskilled work, affordable housing, and as well as the outreach work of San Fiacco's Catholic Church. The widely read newspaper La Fiamma was also founded in 1947 by the Capuchin Order, and for over 70 years has been documenting the highs and lows of the Italian community here in Australia. It was around this time that the title Sydney's Little Italy began to be used to describe Leichhardt, with the delicious Italian food being the main draw card. And the first Italian cafe opened here in 1956, and believe it or not, Leichhardt was the first place in Australia to feature al fresco dining. Although the Italian population here in Leichhardt has and is continuing to decline, with only 7% of residents reporting Italian ancestry back at the census in 2016, the Italian influence here is ever present, celebrated and incredibly noticeable to any visitors to this iconic suburb. The Italian Forum, a residential and shopping complex here on Norton Street, was built in 2000 and is a pedestrian-only piazza modelled off those in Italy. And every year, the last Sunday of October, the Norton Street hosts an Italian fiesta, which attracts 140,000 visitors who are all seeking the perfect cannoli and wood-fired pizza. Another public space and iconic landmark in Leichhardt is its town hall. Situated at the corner of Norton and Marion Streets, slightly elevated off the ground, it was built along with several other town halls across Sydney to coincide with the centennial of European settlement in Sydney. The neighbouring post office was constructed at the same time, and it is believed that 5,000 people attended the opening in 1897. The focal point of Leichhardt Town Hall is its 3-storey clock, a later addition to the building, and nowadays it hosts a variety of community events, performances and functions. During your childhood, you might have ridden a dinky tricycle, and if you did, that dinky was probably manufactured here at the Cyclops Toy Factory in Leichhardt. So the factory was established in 1913 by John Heiner Sheet Metal, and by the 1920s was producing its iconic pedal car, which many believe to be the first mass-produced car here in Australia, 30 years before the Holden. So Cyclops Toy Factory manufactured a large range of metal-based toys, including the dinky tricycle, which was first manufactured in 1928 and left unchanged until 1950. Nowadays, the factory no longer exists and is an apartment block. A tour of Leichhardt would not be complete without a visit to the peaceful green space that is Pioneer Memorial Park, or should I say, the Old Balmain Cemetery. In the 1860s, the Balmain Cemetery Company bought up 11 acres of land with the sole purpose of selling burial plots. From 1868, more than 10,000 people from 24 different religious denominations were buried at Old Balmain Cemetery, with the final burial taking place in 1912. One notable name among those laid to rest here was Robert Towns, the founder of Townsville in Queensland. So how did this cemetery become a park? Well, in 1941, the Old Balmain Cemetery Act was passed, allowing this part of Leichhardt to be converted into a place of quiet recreation, with the name being chosen as a tribute to the pioneers of the suburb. Also in this park is a memorial to the service people of Leichhardt who served during World War I. Now, it would be remiss of me to show off Leichhardt without mentioning the iconic Leichhardt Oval, or should I call it the Lilyfield Rectangle, because it is located in the adjacent suburb of Lilyfield and is a rectangle shape. Now, Leichhardt Oval first hosted rugby league matches in 1934, the same year that it became the home ground for the Balmain Tigers. Nowadays it hosts a number of different sporting teams, including the West Tigers and the Sydney FC. Thanks for joining me on a tour of one of Sydney's most beloved suburbs, Leichhardt. I look forward to taking you on a walking tour of Sydney or the Rocks. For now, please follow I'm Free Walking Tours on Facebook and Instagram for more and related content. You can also go to imfree.com.au to find out how you can book your own walking tour. But for now, stay safe.